The time has come. I am ready to become a skydiving, lance-wielding Dragoon, but I have to complete my training that culminates in a fated meeting against Estinien, the legendary Azure Dragoon. Here's what happened. We conclude this journey in Korthos, where I meet up with Sir Alberic, who has a trial for us to undertake. Old Al starts going on about how Estinien is literally the best Dragoon that has ever existed, and if I challenge him now, it would essentially me signing my own unalive certificate. But I can train to fight him. We find out that the Fury, which I'm guessing is like a godlike deity, they didn't really go into depth here, was impressed with the Ishgardian ancestors' king, Thordan, and basically seduced him to lead her people to the Promised Land. They also had a son, Haldrath. Well, they started building a bridge, I'm guessing to the today Ishgard, but the angry dragon Nidhogg attacked. Thordan charged the furious gecko, but was pushed into a chasm by one of his dragon-seduced men. Literally, like, your whole life is to train and become this great king and warrior, and you fall into a hole because your homeboy is like the donkey from Shrek and was trying to grind on a dragon. That's shitty, man. Well, Haldrath explodes in anger, grabbing his dad's lance and ripping out Nidhogg's eye like a cake pop. This dragon's eye is the one that Estinien has taken and is a wellspring of all dragon power, but it can corrupt. As long as there's no room for dragon influence, then you're good to go. Basically, you gotta be like a Targaryen. And also, while Alberic is telling this story, I feel like he has he's like shedding a tear or something. Like this is like a romantic novel to him. He sends us to Brucemont, me boy, for the next part of the training at Witch Drop. Witch Drop, you know, is where we had that emo boy band Inquisitor yeeting heretics into the chasm. Yeah, that guy. Well, down at the bottom of the pit, that is definitely littered with snow-covered bodies, Brucemont is basically smoking a cigarette and is like, yo, just like, try not to die. And then he sticks his mini toothless on us, and he's like, yeah, that's all you need to do to prove yourself a Dragoon. Wait, what? What was the point of this? Well, back at camp, Alberic is like, you're growing in power, but I only killed like one mob, and you're like, he's the Messiah. Simmer down, Stilgard. Well, I need a power level for a bit, so I get an instant dungeon queue thanks to Galactic, and we end up in Cutter's Cry. But I use basically this whole instance to work out my cool new ability, Elusive Leap, that catapults me backwards out of harm's way in an instant. And also, I don't understand the distance in this game. They say yalms. The hell is a yalm? Someone comment down below and explain that to me. This feels very much like the skill Disengage from World of Warcraft for the hunters. Well, anyway, we cruise through everything, and now we're level 40, so back to Alberic we go. Finally, the next quest gives us some type of AoE ability. Good gracious, Doomspike is what I was missing. Alberic asks me if I believe there's truth in the legend of Haldrath. Did he actually fight a dragon, or was it all just a story? But I'm like, dude, I think it's real. Estinien never missed leg day and can catapult himself into orbit. Like, what isn't there to believe? Well, Alberic tells me the last time Nidhogg woke, which was 20 years ago, he basically went full Deathwing and changed the continent. Alberic was the Azure Dragoon at the time and basically played a Benny Hill chase with him, hunting him down across the land. Well, he finally confronted the sneaky snake, and they fought for 3 days straight. 3? Dude, I get exhausted going up a flight of steps, and you expect me to be the next Dragoon to fight for 3 days minimum? 3? Well, Alberic landed a true blow into the eye socket hole that Haldrath had created and was bashed away by the dragon, who then flew off in rage and anger. And the last village that Nidhogg BBQ'd was the orphan Estinien. Alberic, now not the Azure Dragoon any longer, took Estinien in and raised him as his own son. Not because he's a great guy or anything, because he felt he was guilty that he failed Estinien's parents in the village. Hey kid, I'm sorry your parents are extra crispy, but at least I'm your dad now. Yeah, that sounds bad even now. The problem with Estinien taking the eye is that it may wake up Nidhogg for more shenanigans, which of course is somehow going to be my problem, like it always is. Well, the next trial takes us to Camp Dragonhead, and we fly back down to Witch Drop, and we meet Houston, who is located down at the bottom. Why do we keep going down here? Well, she has me fighting some Bane Mites. Like, that's it? I'm not gonna lie, the scorpion with a massive tail is far more imposing than the little baby dragon I killed, but guys, come on. Whitney Houston gives me the thumbs up and is like, nice. Anyway, I have to go. Alberic gives me the thumbs up, but then it's like, you're gonna have to fight my stepson, the traitor. Like, dude, you're just writing him off and you're just like, yep, it's gonna happen. Bye. Damn, people are brutal in this game. Well, I have to run a handful more of dungeons before I can get to the level 45 quest. It seems Alberic just heard from Estinien that he wants to talk. I mean, if it means that I get another good look at that sweet, sweet armor that he's got, yeah, buddy, let's go.
Yes! 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 Yes!
Well, we go to Boulder Downs to meet Estinien, who honestly simply asserts his dominance by having the high ground over Alberic and I. We stare at his awesome glory. Alberic pleads with Estinien to give up this endeavor and turn himself in, but then we find out that Nidhogg is already awake and has had his cup of coffee, and the next step on his morning routine list is murder. Estinien knew that the dragon would awake, and the plan was that Nidhogg was going to beeline it for Ishgard. So Estinien means to take the dragon's eye as far away from Ishgard as possible so Nidhogg will hunt him down instead of the city. Alberic sniffs through this plot like a garden filled with manure and says that his stepson is looking for revenge for his childhood home. Estinien says, yeah, dude, if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna take that smog wannabe with me. Do you see these legs? He eyes Caffeinated Dad up and down, who looks woefully undergeared to be taking on a dragon. And he says that the reason there are 2 Dragoons in this generation is because we are meant to take down the big lizard together. He says it is our only chance. And then he tells me to gaze upon his armor. Like, dude, I've been foaming at the mouth. I haven't taken my eyes off of you, if you're gonna be honest like that. It's been 15 levels of that gorgeous black armor.
I'll take your entire stock!
For me to get the cool armor, I need to go through some trials. And then instead of rocket launching into space, Estinien just power strides away. Now I have to go and get the Dragoon armor. Alberic says I'd give you my own armor, but it has run out of batteries, and now it's time for me to pull my own weight. Like, motherfucker, I've been doing every little task. I'm trying to sew your family back together, and you can't. We go and meet Bruce Boy in some cave, but not before I get sucked into Dismail Darkhold, which honestly was a tough instance. And then at the very end, this final boss was like really effing us up. Like, his demon slashes were completely clearing the group. Like, it was crazy. I was like seriously gun shy for about like 30 seconds because I was at like 5 HP and I didn't want to go die. Well, I come back out and I fight an unspeaking swordsman. Then Brucemont lights up another cigarette and says, not bad, kid, and then just disappears. We work further down into this hole to see Houston, we have a problem again, who then challenge us to fight a giant. Like, he has an axe that is bigger than my entire body. What's the challenge, David and Goliath? Damn, Korthosh, you scary. Well, I beat the big boy down and I get another piece of armor, then progress down the hole somehow where Brucemont is now. Like, he was at the entrance and now he's all the way down here. How the hell did you get down here so fast? The logic ain't there, folks. Well, now I have to fight a Giga's captive, which honestly just looks like the last guy, but he has a sword that's as long as my entire body. Bruce lights 2 cigarettes and says, I knew you had it in you, kid, and then fades into nothing. I get back to Alberic, who gives me a flute and says I have to go blow it for a challenge unlike any I have faced yet. I'm suddenly very uncomfortable with where this is going.
I'm in danger!
I get to Steel Vigil, blow Alberic's flute, and now I'm officially a Dragoon. Out of context, this probably sounds really bad. The harmonious mouth noises I made summoned a giant worm dragon thing that really just looks like a dinosaur that time forgot. I think I see Ishgard somewhere in the background now, but I head back to Alberic, who says, you have all the pieces except for one. Before he can tell me, he starts shelling out riddles about risking my life in a foreign land for people that are snobby to stop a dragon. Caffeinated just aggressively head nods through everything. He asks me to think long and hard about what I plan to do here. So after about 10 seconds, I agree to become a Dragoon. Alberic says that he actually lied to us. When he buried his spear into Nidhogg's eye socket, he felt the sway of the dragon influencing him. He felt that he couldn't contain it, and he would fall prey to the sultry ways of the scaly boys. So he gave up his power at that instant. That's why he was swatted away by Nidhogg. Without his Super Dragon power-up star, he watched helplessly as Nidhogg's evil dragon money gang destroyed Ferndale with vicious impunity. All he could do was to save Estinien. Even our Azure Dragoon buddy doesn't know about this, so this is probably going to be a family problem later. Estinien now is driven by vengeance, and that will make him fall to the dark side. I mean, are we even really talking about Dragoons here, or is this a simply rewrite of Star Wars? Well, he gives me another flute, and now I have to go blowing again to earn reputation. Well, I kill this dragon, who actually looks like a real dragon, more like a wyvern, I guess. I don't believe wyverns have arms. Well, anyway, I kill a dragon with like 2 hits and the greatest of ease. Alberic then says that we have one more trial that we have to complete when I am old enough, which basically means I need to instant queue a few more dungeons, and guess which ones we get? That's right, Orem Vale.
Hold up.
Not only once,
Wait a minute.
but twice.
Something ain't right. right.
Luckily, I had a bunch of gear ready when I hit level 50, so with all my jump abilities, I actually can do some damage now too. Alberic says that Estinien is hunting Nidhogg and it requires my assistance. Alberic also says that I don't think you're fully ready or fully armored for that matter, but hey, I'm already sacrificing my stepson for this matter. Why not just sacrifice some random bald guy too? Somehow I look worse with better gear on. Ugh, good glamour gods. Well, I enter the final duty, the Dragon's Maw, meet up for this epic conclusion. Estinien, Alberic, and myself. Estinien immediately gets accusatory, saying that he knows that Alberic sacrificed his Dragoon powers at Ferndale and watched it burn. Apparently, Alberic had been hiding this from literally everyone. Caffeinated Dad just munches on some popcorn while this major climactic reveal is happening. Estinien hits me with the "there can only be one" line, and now it's time to throw down. Like, I start murking poor Estinien so bad that he literally prays to dragons to take him and give him strength. Like, I don't want to be that guy, but I keep helplessly beating these lance-wielding elves into submission. Am I really that good, or are they just really that bad? Well, we start hearing the voice of dragons, and Estinien gets a super dragon power-up, and Caffeinated Dad gets a full dragoon power-up. It's a really bad look to be a dragon lancer around an anti-dragon mustache, boy. Well, I obliterate Estinien out of existence. Like, I don't know where he is, but he's gone. We did it. Alberic and I casually walk away like, hey, you want to go hit Taco Bell after this? No, that place always gives me diarrhea. Alberic says that I have truly taken on the mantle of the Azure Dragoon and Haldrath reincarnated. But Alberic starts wondering what will happen to Estinien, or what happened to him. Dude, I used Major Dragon Blast, if you must know, and I rolled a nat 20. So it's a critical success. He's dead. Alberic gives me the last pieces of gear and thus concludes the Dragoon journey. So in a nutshell, this whole storyline was absolutely wild. Like, there was so much going on in the background with the story and the lore that the Dragoon is actually kind of make the warrior quest lines look terrible, kind of dopey. I love the fact that we fought Estinien. However, I was hoping he was going to be more of a challenge. Like, he had some really interesting abilities and stuff like that, but damn, they talked him up so bad and he was kind of a pushover. It was wild to find out that Alberic gave up his Dragoon abilities and that's the reason Ferndale burned down like the way that it did. Like, he could have kept going for another day or something, kill a few hundred dragons. Like, come on, man. Overall, I love the quest line, especially gallivanting all around Korthos, because man, I really love this zone and the music that's tied to it. It was absolutely great, and one that I won't soon forget. As a note, I stream Mondays and Fridays at 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on YouTube. You can catch my Final Fantasy XIV journey there. If you want to see the first time I met Estinien, click this video here. As always, stay caffeinated, folks.